It was a crisp Saturday morning when Michael Langford, a self-made millionaire with an empire spanning real estate, tech, and international investments, returned home earlier than expected. The sun had just begun to cast golden streaks across the manicured lawns of his sprawling mansion, and the air carried a quiet calm, almost as if the estate itself was holding its breath. Michael had taken this morning off from his usual high-pressure meetings, intending to surprise his family with breakfast and spend a rare few hours in peace. What he didn't anticipate, however, was the encounter that awaited him in the grand hall of his home. As he stepped through the double doors, the familiar sound of soft humming reached his ears. Michael paused, recognizing the tune as one Rosa, his longtime cleaning lady, often sang while going about her chores. She moved with practiced ease, dusting the shelves, straightening cushions, and organizing books on the massive oak shelves of the living room. Rosa was a woman in her late 40s, with a quiet dignity that seemed to fill the space without drawing attention. Over the years, Michael had seen her come and go, never questioning her personal life, her dreams, or her capabilities beyond the domestic sphere. To him, she was dependable, discreet, and efficient, the perfect help, but nothing more. "Good morning, Rosa," Michael greeted casually, his tone warm but distant. "Everything in order?" Rosa looked up from her work, her eyes lighting up with a mixture of pride and something he couldn't quite place. "Good morning, sir. Everything is perfect as always," she said with a gentle smile. Michael nodded, expecting no more, and was about to walk toward the study when her next words made him freeze in place. "I speak 11 languages," she said proudly, her voice calm, confident, and almost matter-of-fact. Michael stopped mid-step, a small laugh escaping him. 11 languages? The thought was so absurdly grand compared to the image of Rosa meticulously dusting the living room that he almost chuckled out loud. 11 languages? He repeated, half in amusement. Really? Let me guess. You mean the basics, right? French? Spanish? Maybe a little Italian? Rosa shook her head, her smile never faltering. French, Spanish, Italian, Mandarin, Arabic, Russian, Swahili, Hindi, German, Japanese, and Turkish, she replied, enumerating each with effortless clarity. There was no hesitation, no stumble, just a calm, unwavering assertion of something extraordinary hidden behind her ordinary exterior. Michael felt a strange mix of disbelief and curiosity. "All of them?" he asked, his tone now more serious than amused. He had always prided himself on recognizing talent, yet the notion that someone he had casually dismissed as just help could possess such an incredible skill seemed almost unreal. He realized he had never asked Rosa about her life outside work, assuming that her world ended at the mansion's gates. He had assumed that her days consisted of chores, cleaning supplies, and quiet labor. But clearly there was a depth, a world of experience and intellect he had never imagined. "What got you into languages, Rosa?" he asked, his curiosity piqued. Rosa paused for a moment as if choosing her words carefully. "Life, sir. People, books, music, the world itself. I believe every language is a window into someone else's heart. Once you understand their words, you understand them." Her voice was steady, her pride tempered by humility, yet there was a power in her eyes, a quiet confidence that demanded acknowledgement. Michael, usually composed and unflappable, found himself at a rare loss for words. The woman he had known for years, the one whose hands polished his marble floors and organized his estate, was quietly extraordinary. Here was a mind that had traversed continents, cultures, and histories, all while performing the tasks he had always thought defined her. He realized with a jolt that greatness doesn't always announce itself in boardrooms or flashy accolades. Sometimes it waits quietly, tucked behind a simple smile and diligent work, ready to astonish the world when noticed. Michael stood there, stunned as Rosa's words lingered in the air like an unexpected melody. 11 languages. He had expected a modest exaggeration, a playful boast, maybe even a bit of humor. But what she said carried the weight of undeniable truth. His mind raced, imagining Rosa reciting fluently in Mandarin, switching to Arabic, then effortlessly shifting to Japanese without missing a beat. The thought was almost surreal. How could someone, in all the years he had known her, possess such a remarkable talent without ever mentioning it before? "Would you actually speak some of them for me?" Michael asked cautiously, unsure whether he was asking out of curiosity or sheer disbelief. He didn't want to appear condescending, but he also needed proof, evidence that the extraordinary could indeed hide behind the ordinary. Rosa's lips curved into a confident smile. "Of course, sir. Which language would you like to hear first?" Michael hesitated, then decided to start with French, a language he had studied in school but rarely used. Rosa began to speak effortlessly, her pronunciation flawless, her tone natural. Each word rolled off her tongue as if she were born speaking it. Michael's amusement quickly dissolved into amazement. Next came Arabic, with its complex sounds and intricate intonation. Rosa's voice carried the words with the rhythm of someone who had not merely memorized them, but truly understood them. He watched her switch seamlessly to Russian, and then to Mandarin, each language as precise and confident as the last. By the time she ended with Turkish, Michael was completely silent, staring at her with a mixture of awe, respect, and a faint pang of embarrassment. How did you learn all of these?" he finally managed, his voice low with incredulity. Rosa's gaze softened. "Life, sir. I've always loved learning. I read books, listened to music, watched films, and spoke with people whenever I could. Every language is a doorway to a different culture, a different way of thinking. I never had much in the way of formal education, but I made use of every opportunity I could find. Languages allowed me to explore the world without leaving home." Her tone was calm, humble, yet carried a quiet strength. Michael felt a wave of realization wash over him. He had built empires, negotiated multi-million-dollar deals, and traveled the world, yet here was a woman who had achieved something extraordinary, without fame, wealth, or recognition. How often had he overlooked people like Rosa, assuming their value was measured solely by the roles they performed for him? He thought of all the times he had walked past her, never asking about her dreams or skills, never noticing the richness of her inner life. Rosa continued, sensing his thoughts. "Sir, knowledge isn't about wealth or status. It's about curiosity and persistence. Anyone can learn if they truly want to. I've learned these languages not for recognition, but because they connected me to the world and to myself." Michael swallowed hard, humbled. He realized that greatness often resides in quiet corners, unseen and uncelebrated. He had believed intelligence and achievement were exclusive to those with privilege, education, and power. But Rosa proved otherwise. Here she was, a black cleaning lady, quietly mastering 11 languages, embodying brilliance that could humble even the most accomplished minds. For the first time, Michael saw Rosa differently. She was no longer just a caretaker of his home. She was a remarkable human being, a testament to the power of curiosity, determination, and humility. He felt a deep respect welling up inside him, mingled with the bitter taste of regret for all the assumptions he had ever made. Rosa had revealed a truth he could not ignore. True brilliance often hides where you least expect it, and sometimes the most extraordinary people are those you've overlooked all along. Michael knew that nothing in his life, his wealth, his years' accolades, or his business successes could ever surpass the quiet, profound achievement of the woman standing before him. And as he watched Rosa resume her work, her confidence unchanged, he understood that some lessons in life arrive not through grand gestures, but through simple, undeniable truths that leave you forever altered.